July 4, 2025, Kerrville, Texas. 1:14 a.m. Thousands of cell phones flash with a flash flood warning across the hill country. Subject: flash flood warning. Immediate danger to life and property. Robert Martinez, 67 years old, sleeps in his RV at HTR campground on the banks of the Guadalupe River, unaware. 27 children at Camp Mystic also don't hear it. They live 200 meters from the riverbank. This is very normal. The Guadalupe River is rising. The flow is 8 feet per second. 1:45 a.m. 16,000 feet per second. 2:30 a.m. 50,000 feet per second. 3:15 a.m. 120,000 feet per second. The river rose 26 feet in 45 minutes. Escape impossible. What will they do? And Governor Greg Abbott? He's sleeping in Kerrville, 60 miles away. But here's what makes this disaster terrifying. 95% of the homes in the flood zone in Kerr County had no flood insurance. 135 people died. 27 children. And most of their homes were covered by standard homeowner insurance that did not cover flood damage. So who will protect these people? Who will defend these people's rights? Why isn't the governor saying anything? Insurance companies took your premiums, then let you down. They don't care. When Camp Mystic promised safety. Camp Mystic, a Christian girls' camp in Kerrville, has been open for 63 years. Every summer, hundreds of girls enjoy themselves, swim, and camp on the banks of the Guadalupe River. In 2022, the camp expanded. The Bubble-In cabin was built, the closest building to the river. It was built with a $130,000 investment. Camp director Dick Eastland told the media, "We provide the safest environment for our campers." According to FEMA's flood map, the Bubble-In cabin was within a 100-year floodway, the highest risk zone. In 2024, FEMA removed dozens of Camp Mystic buildings from the flood map. The camp applied, FEMA approved, no risk now. 18 months later, 27 campers and counselors drowned. Dick Eastland, 70 years old, died trying to save the children. The youngest victim was 1 year old. The oldest was 91. Camp Mystic promised safety. FEMA said buildings weren't in the floodway anymore. Translation: bureaucracy killed the children. The 5% that destroyed thousands. 3,000 homes in Kerr County are in a 100-year floodplain. How many had flood insurance? 150. 5%. Statewide, only 7% of homes in Texas carry flood insurance, the lowest rate in the country. Standard homeowner insurance does not cover flood damage. Never has. Never will. Because insurance companies completely withdrew from flood coverage in the 1960s. Too expensive, too risky. The federal government created the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP. But participation is voluntary, unless a mortgage lender requires it. And in Texas, nobody is buying it. The reason? Cost. The average NFIP premium in Texas ranges from $581 to $879 per year. For high-risk properties, it's $1,200 to $3,000. In 2021, FEMA implemented Risk Rating 2.0. Premiums increased by an average of 35%. Result: 39,000 policies were canceled last year. A 30% drop across Texas. And on July 4, 2025, thousands of families lost everything. Zero coverage. Zero payout. Zero help. Translation: pay premiums for 40 years, then drown with nothing. The seniors FEMA left homeless. Kerr County demographics. 32.2% of residents are over 60. Nearly double the national average. Kerrville is a well-known retirement destination. Low cost of living. No state income tax. Beautiful hill country scenery. Linda Thompson, 61, retired from Houston in 2019. Husband died in 2023, heart attack. Retirement savings tight. Social Security is $1,750 a month. Bought a small house on the Guadalupe River. $290,000. 30-year fixed mortgage. 4%. Insurance agent did not recommend flood insurance. Standard homeowner policy covers water damage, she was told. Not flood. Lived there 18 years. Never flooded before. July 4, 3:30 a.m. Waters rose. Linda tried to escape. House total loss. Insurance company said, flood damage isn't covered under your policy. FEMA gave her $38,000. Rebuilding the house costs $260,000. Linda is now staying at her daughter's house in Houston. It's crowded. No privacy. She's depressed. 61 years old and homeless. David Chen, 72, lived in comfort. Retired teacher. Pension was $2,100 a month. Rebuilt his house after the 2019 floods. Used $85,000 in savings. Thought, lightning doesn't strike twice. This time, no money left. Too old to get a mortgage. 72 years old. Applied to FEMA. Denied. Reason, insufficient damage documentation. Applied again. Denied again. Living in a FEMA trailer now. For 6 months. Has Medicare but no home. William Bruce Ferguson 3, 82, and Penny Ferguson, 76. Married 54 years. They were staying at an RV park on the Guadalupe River. Fixed income, Social Security for both of them, $3,200. The flood warning came. Too old to move fast. Too dark to see. The RV was swept away. Both drowned. No flood insurance. FEMA paid for the funerals. $9,000. Translation: 54 years together, washed away in 45 minutes. Abbott celebrated border while seniors drowned. July 4, 2025. Kerr County is underwater. Where was Greg Abbott? In Eagle Pass. Border security photo op. He tweeted, "Texas is securing the border while Biden does nothing." While 135 people died in Kerrville. July 5, Abbott signed a disaster declaration. He told the media, "We are providing all necessary resources." Translation: We came after the disaster and cut the ribbon. Compare that to 2021. Winter Storm Uri. 246 dead. Abbott said, "Never again. We will winterize the grid." Fast forward to July 2025. Kerr County has no flood warning system. County commissioners rejected the proposal in 2016. One commissioner said, "A little extravagant." Cost: $60,000. Comfort Town invested $60,000 in a warning system. 90-minute advance warning. 0 casualties. Kerr County did not invest. No 90-minute warning. 135 dead. Abbott's response? Blame-seeking is the word choice of losers. Translation: No accountability for the dead. The pattern Texas won't acknowledge. Kerr County is not alone. Texas flood insurance gap affects the entire state. Houston, 9% coverage rate. Austin, 6%. Dallas, 8%. San Antonio, 7%. Total, 6 million Texans live in flood-prone areas. Only 7% have insurance. Hurricane Harvey, 2017. $80 billion in damage. Most homeowners had no flood insurance. Memorial Day floods. Again and again. The insurance gap grows. And Abbott. No mandatory flood insurance legislation. Texas requires disclosure. Sellers must reveal flood risk. But purchase is not mandatory. Florida requires flood insurance for mortgages. Louisiana requires it. North Carolina requires it. Texas, no requirement. Because acknowledging it means developers would restrict. Construction would slow. Growth would be limited. And Abbott can't do that. Texas Miracle means economic growth. Translation: growth for the economy, drowning for civilians. The $54 billion Texas won't spend. Texas Water Development Board 2024 Flood Plan. State needs $54.5 billion for flood risk reduction. Texas lawmakers committed. $1.4 billion. 2.5%. Derek Bowes, San Antonio River Authority. A drop in the bucket. FEMA flood maps outdated. They identify 860,000 at-risk properties. First Street Foundation estimate: $1.15 million. Gap: 300,000 properties. Underestimated. And the NFIP owes $22.5 billion to the U.S. Treasury. Daily interest: $1.7 million. Program collapsing. Texas population growing. Flood risk intensifying. Climate scientists: heaviest rainstorms now drop 20% more water than in the 1950s. Texas state climatologist projection: extreme rainfall increased 10% more by 2036. Greater Houston added 65,000 homes in flood zones since Harvey. Pattern obvious: more people, more floods, less insurance, more devastation. The reckoning. This is the story of how 135 Texans drowned because their government failed them. 27 children at Camp Mystic. Sleeping in cabins FEMA said weren't in floodways anymore. Linda Thompson, 61. Lost everything. Living with daughter. Depressed. Homeless. David Chen, 72. Rebuilt once. Can't rebuild again. FEMA trailer for 6 months. Bruce and Penny Ferguson, 82 and 76. Married 54 years. Washed away together. 93% of Texas homes. No flood insurance. Abbott can't fix this. Mandatory insurance angers developers. Slows growth. Threatens the Texas miracle. So he says nothing. Just celebrates border security and property tax cuts. While Kerrville still rebuilds. While FEMA denies applications. While seniors live in trailers. Kerr County commissioners rejected a $60,000 warning system. Too extravagant. 135 people died. Compare that to comfort. $60,000 investment. 0 deaths. Translation: your life is worth less than a flood siren. Workers who believed Texas was safe are paying the price. Linda works part-time retail for $9 an hour. David lives in a FEMA trailer, hoping for approval. The Ferguson family is buried together. FEMA paid $9,000 for the funerals. They did everything right. And they lost everything. Because in Texas, subsidies go to corporations, warnings go ignored, and governors celebrate elsewhere while seniors drown with no coverage. If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening in Texas Hill Country, hit that subscribe button because this story isn't over. More floods coming, more insurance denied, more families losing everything.